He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do? Everything lined up perfectly for the Lions in the NFL draft last night. We will discuss that, but nothing was more perfect than Chris Paul against the Pelicans. 14 for 14 from the field, Jalen.
And also, the level of perfection is the master of the mid-range and never dunking the ball. See, a lot of times when you see stats like this, it's because somebody was getting dunks. Like, these is runners, these are floaters, these are 15-footers. And while we made sure to acknowledge and give praise to the freshman class, as I'll call them, with the Pelicans, in particular Grand Theft Alvarado, who was picking up CP3 94 feet. I told you they was going to get somebody in the backcourt to kind of screen for him, to free him up a little bit. And like I also told you, you can pick me up 94 feet, but once I get inside that three-point line, you about to get these buckets.
You're mine.
You know what I'm saying? You about to get it. And he gave it to him. And shout to my brother Detroit Willie, pictured right there with CP3, because he took this Pelicans team out of the abyss, Jacoby, with their bad start. No Zion this year, developing rookies, Alvarado, Jones, Murphy, making them rotation players. Brandon Ingram took the leap, adding CJ McCollum, both of those guys who struggle from the floor. But this was about CP3. And then the return of Devin Booker. It's great to see him back in the lineup.
It's great to see Booker back, and especially as you look forward to the next series, it's good to get him one game, get warmed up. He contributed, he did his thing, but it was also Mikal Bridges. You know what I mean? Like, what Mikal Bridges has brought to this team in this series just shows you how valuable he is and why they signed him long-term, because he's so effective on both ends of the floor.
Absolutely. And the thing about Bridges' production and Ayton's production, like, we got to understand that they won the West last year. Like, they're young, experienced, grizzled at playing basketball in the playoffs, so very young in their career. Mikal Bridges never misses a game.
Look at this Herb Jones steal, Jalen, in the finish.
Oh, I love, you know, Herb Jones was out there. This move right here, lefty behind the back, you know how much I love. And Jacoby, you know how much I ride for the lefty number 5s, by the way. and Herb Jones not only plays D, but shows you that he can get out in transition and make a play. Like, the future is bright with the Pelicans, and as I mentioned, like, they're a Western Conference stock without Zion that you can now invest in. Getting Zion back really becomes a game changer, hopefully, for them next season.
Yes, I look forward to the Pelicans next season. It was so fun to watch them. I'm going to miss Jose Alvarado so much, but congratulations to the Pelicans and New Orleans for that win. But waiting for the Suns in the second round is the winner of the Mavs-Jazz game last night. It was a closeout game for the Mavs, and it came down to the close. Conley with an uncharacteristic bad turnover there. That was a key play. And then with the season on the line, Bogdanovich, an open look. I thought it was in. It was not in. Mr. Rose, Luka and the Mavs move on.
Before I celebrate Luka and Jalen Brunson and Jason Kidd, let me put an exclamation point on what I said yesterday. And the crazy thing about it is the couple of players that I mentioned were in the plays you just showed. You saw Mike Conley with the ball in his hands. He's a grizzled vet. He deserves the opportunity to play minutes in the league. Donovan Mitchell need the ball. I just told you that yesterday. He need to have the ball in his hands. That's one of the things that Utah Jazz didn't do to me that would have elevated possibly there in his situation. That's number one. Number two, I told you, keep Bogdanovich away from Luka. I mentioned that to you yesterday. And then he's the guy that ended up with the open shot and missed the shot. And then lastly, like, when you know that you're going into a playoff series and you're Utah and you underachieved the last 2 seasons, you can't just go out and get waxed like this. Like, It's one thing for us to say break up Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. It's another thing to play the way they played and get eliminated the way they did to make it obvious that they should break them up.
Oh, it's happening.
You see what I mean?
Danny Ainge is already on the phone. Danny Ainge, his texts are popping right now already. I can't wait to see what they do this offseason and how they rebuild this team. Hopefully, Mr. Mitchell will find his way here to New York City. But you said you were going to talk about the Jazz before we celebrate Luka. It is now time to celebrate Luka Doncic's first series win in the playoffs.
And the one thing about Luka that I appreciate, Jacoby, is he's grown as a leader. See, earlier in his career, when Porzingis was there in particular, we was trying to figure if this was Luka's team and if the players around here was going to follow. And see, when you bring Jason Kidd, an all-time great point guard, to the sideline, you know what he going to do? He going to put the ball in the guy's hands that can make a play.
Yep.
He ain't messing around with no possessions. Luka gonna have the ball or Brunson gonna have the ball. And Luka's so good with the ball at all areas of the floor, it don't matter who's guarding him. Look, dog, he's going left, step back three. He's going right, shooting runner or floater. And then when you help, drop. And so this series is about the ascension of Luka. Like, I want to acknowledge that I'm disappointed in the Jazz, but I'm really impressed with Ja Morant taking the next step, Luka taking the next step so very early in their careers in the West.
To the next season after getting swept by the Boston Celtics, Kyrie's squad has been at the center of a lot of conversation, including on this show. Kyrie tweeting this yesterday. When I see my name or my brothers and sisters' names getting spun through the media, I refer to all my research about who they are. Their job is to control public perception, all while profiting off discussing, discrediting, and disrespecting people's lives for entertainment. He went on to say, I send shots at the puppet masters, not the puppets. All puppets do is run around society trying to gain popularity and state opinions. What a life. My name is worth billions to these corporations. My brothers and sisters who deal with this know exactly what I mean. Kendrick Perkins joining the show. Big Perk. Here's my camera. Great to have you here, sir. You want to start?
Good to see you.
You want to start with Perk?
I already spoke. I want Kendrick Perkins. I want to hear what he has to say.
Perk, talk to me. Your response to what you just heard from Kyrie Irving, and obviously there were more tweets than what I just read.
I don't get it. I don't get it when it comes down to Kyrie and his Twitter fingers. And I say that to say this. Listen, you got swept by the Boston Celtics. You didn't win one game. What was that same energy when it was come between those lines against Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown and Marcus Smart and those boys who the ones that gave you that spanking? But here's another thing about Kyrie and a lot of other players around the league. We're talking about the game of basketball, man. The game of basketball. Me, Kendrick Perkins, right? A Shaq and the Fool MVP when I was in the league, made Shaq and the Fool plenty of times. Guess what? I went to sleep with the AC on 60 and the fan blowing in my face every damn night. Because at the end of the day, this is what I signed up for. And you know what's even more crazy to me? Who was Kyrie's mentor? Who did Kyrie look up to? The late, great Kobe Bryant. And God rest his soul, but if Kobe Bryant was here, I'm pretty sure he would be disappointed in the way that Kyrie is handling this particular situation. You know, Kobe Bryant, when you talk about the Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant, it wasn't always peaches and cream with Kobe. Kobe got criticized. Kobe took it like a man. Kobe bounced back in great fashion. Kobe Bryant was a guy that was the ultimate professional for his handling criticism, whether it was ups or downs. And to see Kyrie come out and lash out and all the time his cop-out is going at media, right? Let me attack the media. Why you didn't attack Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart when you was between those lines? You had a good game one, a great game one. Then after that, we had to fire you. We needed a flashlight. So I had to come on here, man, and I really didn't want to, come on here and let's go at another black man, because I hate when we're only talking basketball and somebody try to make it about black and white or make it about, it's brothers are going against African Americans.
Right.
That is so disturbing to me. We're talking about basketball.
Kendrick Perkins, appreciate those sentiments, don't disagree with you. But I'm going to go there because I think it's important. And you brought it up because I was going there anyway, so you led me to that. You know, that's exactly what makes Kyrie Irving this particular morning very disgusting. And I'm just going to say that way. We are talking about basketball, but that's not where Kyrie is trying to direct us. With his delusional tendencies notwithstanding, what he's trying to do is make this about a race thing and talking about brothers going up against brothers. Then he calls us puppets, but he's saying, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to point the finger at the puppet masters. So we puppets now because we don't agree with him and we're willing to hold him accountable for not showing up to do his